Hi guys, I'm back again today with another reaction video, and today we're checking out some NASCAR getting ejected moment. What does getting ejected mean? Like, do they kick you out because you did something, or do you get ejected from your car? That will be a sight to see. But anyways, before we start, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell button, and let's go straight into the video.
What warrants an ejection in NASCAR? NASCAR drivers can run onto the track under caution to throw a helmet at another driver and not get ejected. But if you go as far as to get payback on a driver who wrecked you, you risk the chance of getting parked. This is the NASCAR term for getting ejected. You may get parked for the chance of getting parked. This is the NASCAR term.
Park, bring a vehicle that one is driving to halt and leave it temporarily. Temporarily. Typically in a parking lot or, yeah, okay.
Term for getting ejected. You may get parked for the remainder of the current race or in extreme circumstances for a handful of upcoming races. Believe it or not, NASCAR has some very recent examples of both. But wait, what is the difference between these two NASCAR accidents? One of these warranted a 2-race suspension and the other received no suspension at all. The 24 and 20 cars are both wrecking the other car in retaliation. We'll go more in depth on this one a bit later. The reasoning may surprise you. Most NASCAR drivers go their entire careers without even getting parked or ejected once. As mentioned previously, a simple helmet throw to another competitor doesn't warrant you to be tossed from the event. This definitely would not be the case in most sports. Chris Buescher is generally known for being one of the nicest NASCAR drivers, and from what I can tell, he's the least likely to get parked from a NASCAR race. That's why I've teamed up again with his NASCAR sponsor, Auto Tempest. It's as easy as this. Auto Tempest gathers all the listings for used cars in your area and then combines them so you can view each listing in the same place and also get way more results.
This is a great brand deal.
No more visiting sites like TrueCar, eBay Motors, and Cars.com separately. Ever since Auto Tempest started sponsoring Chris Buescher, they've been the only site I use when I search around for cars. So save your time, click the Auto Tempest link that I've put in the description to get started on your easy car searching process. Thank you, Auto Tempest, for supporting me and our favorite sport, NASCAR. Our first instance of NASCAR drivers getting ejected is Carl Edwards being removed from the 2010 Atlanta race. Here is your 20 seconds of context. This is gonna go fast. Carl Edwards was sent flying from Keselowski's bumper at Talladega in 2009, which was unintentional. It was the beginning of a feud between Edwards and Keselowski, in which some meaningless encounters took place in the Nationwide Series races afterwards. A year later, Edwards made contact with Brad Keselowski at the start of the Atlanta race, and when he rejoined the race over 100 laps down, he intentionally spun out Keselowski. He meant to just simply spin him, but Brad's car got airborne, and they were going over 160 miles an hour in the process. Keselowski landed on the roof of his car, which potentially could have hurt him. Wow. I have a feeling that the only reason Carl Edwards was ejected from this race is because he sent Brad airborne. If it was just a simple spin, his chances of finishing the race would have increased greatly. Edwards wasn't temporarily banned from any NASCAR events after Atlanta, but he did receive a 3-race probation. The commentators had a reaction to this crash that you're probably going to want to hear.
That NASCAR is parking Edwards for the balance of the race, and he's being called to the NASCAR hauler.
He's not doing himself no favor right now going backwards down pit road either. They're not going to like that at all.
But Terrell, I got to ask you, Carl Edwards is 156 laps down. What's going on here?
That was not necessary. Very unnecessary.
Kyle Busch versus Ron Hornaday is one of the most famous instances where a NASCAR driver gets parked, then suspended. Remember in the last video why I mentioned that Michael McDowell raced the 18 at Texas in 2011? This is why. With this angry heat of the moment move, Kyle Busch threw away Hornaday's potential championship season, but also every shot he himself might have had to win the Cup championship in 2011. Busch was not only parked for the Cup race at Texas, but was also not allowed to race in the Nationwide Series race either. Fans speculated if Kyle Busch would continue driving for Joe Gibbs after this on-track carelessness, but it's a good thing he did because he won 2 championships with JGR within the next 8 years. You'll see a common theme that when somebody intentionally wrecks a championship contender, that's when they have the highest chances of getting parked.
I ended up losing my cool, and I've been wrecked 4 weeks in a row, and finally I just had enough of it. And so you can't place all blame on one person. There was 2 people that got into it to begin with, and there was 2 people that ended it.
Brennan Poole gets parked for intentionally wrecking JJ Yeley at Iowa. The instigator in this series of events is JJ Yeley. He turns Poole into the outside wall for seemingly no reason. In an interview after the race, he claims he was just trying to get in line behind Brennan Poole. However, on replay, it seems as if he blatantly wrecked him. Since Poole went head on with the turn 3 wall, what better time than to get JJ Yeley back at the same part of the track and wrecking him in a nearly identical way. Obviously, Brennan Poole had to be parked for the rest of the race, likely because he retaliated at over 100 laps down, but I wonder if he still would have been parked if he was racing on the lead lap. This payback can easily be passed off as justified, even if Poole still got parked. Between Johnny Sauter and Austin Hill, you could probably come to the observation that Sauter started the encounter and also ended it. It starts with a bump that Johnny Sauter gives Hill in turn 1. Hill comes back and spins the 13 truck in turn 3, which I'm not sure was justified. Either way, Sauter comes back and gets his payback for the payback under caution. Johnny Sauter was parked for the rest of Iowa and also the next race at Gateway, where he had Myatt Snyder fill in for the number 13. After
The
about
people who are like watching or judging, they have to have like a really, really good eye, because to know if this was like intentional or not intentional and all that is, it's like so much goes to NASCAR that I didn't necessarily think it would have. Like, I thought, oh, they just race whoever finish first is the winner, and then that's it. Like, I never thought about it on a statistics in depth. Like, I didn't think about anything when it came to NASCAR. When I didn't know about the sports before, I just thought they just race to the finish line and that's it, right? But there's so much that goes into it, even in the rules and all that.
bad restart from Clint Bowyer, Denny Hamlin misjudged the space between him and the car in front because he's not really used to running the Nationwide Series too often. As you may imagine, Clint Bowyer was going to be angry, which even Hamlin himself seemed to agree was justified. Clint Bowyer came back to sideswipe Hamlin under caution, which NASCAR immediately parked him for. I'm not sure that NASCAR needed to do this, as it probably wouldn't have carried much further. I guess NASCAR doesn't like extracurriculars happening under the yellow.
Nope.
For the encounter you've all been waiting for, and perhaps it's the most known instance of NASCAR payback and a driver getting parked. But we need to rewind and set the stage so you know what's at stake here. Joey Logano shoved Matt Kenseth out of his way to win at Kansas, his second win in the round of 12. This, combined with a bad race at Talladega, ensured that Matt Kenseth would not advance to the round of 8 in the NASCAR Championship. In fact, the 20 and 22 got into each other on Talladega's pit lane just one race later. Have a listen to these communications from Kenseth's radio.
Still at 22, I'm going to knock his out after the race. You tell him to hide behind his daddy.
Then, the week after Talladega, it was the race at Martinsville where it looked like Logano was about to win his 4th race in a row. Kenseth was involved in a crash while running second behind Joey Logano, but it was his teammate Brett Keselowski that spun him out. Now, with no possibility to win the race, no possibility to win the championship, there was just one final objective for Matt Kenseth to accomplish in the 2015 season. That objective was this.
And Kenseth cleared by Logano, maybe no! Kenseth takes him out! Logano into the wall! Caution comes out and the crowd roars!
Tell you what you need to do is go over there and get him. That's a chicken move right there.
We all know where the story came from. Payback for Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, because he knows he's not gonna win. What has he got to lose, right? Like, even if I go to the finish line first, I'm not gonna win anyways. So what do? Payback is a BITCH, and it's the end anyways. This is the last race, if I'm not mistaken. So, like, oh, who cares, right? That's his mentality, at least.
Happy? Jeff Gordon ended up winning his final career race, and Matt Kenseth got his payback on Logano to stop him from advancing to the championship 4. NASCAR parked Matt Kenseth for the next 2 races at Texas and Phoenix, probably to give Logano a legitimate shot to point his way into the championship finale without the moving obstacle of Kenseth. But that didn't work. Denny Hamlin rallied behind his teammate in the 20 by dropping shirts with the message, free mat. This could be because banning Kenseth from competition for 2 weeks was not in line with when Jeff Gordon ended Clint Bowyer's championship run at Phoenix just 3 years earlier. Gordon did not receive any suspension and even won the season finale, with Bowyer coming in second. Popular US sports usually rule ejections by considering targeting, unsportsmanlike conduct, or messing with the officials. With these rules laid out, you're probably thinking, NASCAR drivers can't mess with officials if they're in the car. Well, Kyle Busch proved you wrong. But this actually didn't get Kyle Busch thrown from the race. It's kind of hard to get unsportsmanlike penalties in NASCAR, but targeting? This could be NASCAR's version of targeting. The drivers have the goal of wrecking a specific competitor to damage their car or prevent them from winning. This is the most common way to get parked, or for the sake of this video, ejected from a NASCAR race. Let's try to predict who will be the next driver to get parked from NASCAR. Oh, you're wondering about my prediction?
It's gotta be Recky Spinhouse, right?
Leave your prediction of who and what for down in the comments below.
Answer. But this is very interesting. There's so much more, like, of course, terminologies and rules that I'm not familiar with because we're not that familiar with NASCAR. Like, I think we're 20% or even 10% familiar with the sport, and that's about it. So watching these really tell us more, and they're very interesting. Let me know what other videos you'd like me to check out. If you like this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great, amazing holidays. Bye.